A quiet suburban street where lawns are manicured to perfection. And every house looks like it jumped out of a catalog. But on this fateful afternoon, that peace shatters like a dropped vase. Enter Brenda Wilkins, the self-appointed queen of the Homeowners Association, storming up to her neighbor's driveway with fury in her eyes, ready to unleash hell over a minor rule infraction. It all started innocently enough. Or so it seemed. Jack Thompson, a retired Marine who'd seen more action in Iraq than most folks see in a lifetime, had just moved into the neighborhood 6 months ago. He was the kind of guy who kept to himself, mowed his lawn on Saturdays, waved hello to the kids riding bikes, and occasionally hosted barbecues for fellow vets. But Brenda? Oh! She had it out for him from day one. "That truck of yours is an eyesore," she'd sneered at him during the first HOA meeting, pointing at his beat-up Ford pickup with its faded camouflage wrap. "It violates Section 4.2 of the bylaws, no vehicles over 10 years old parked in driveways." Jack had chuckled it off, explaining it was a memento from his service days. But Brenda's lips had pursed like she'd sucked on a lemon. Why couldn't people just follow the rules? She thought, her blood pressure ticking up like a time bomb. The mouth-worn chin exploded that sunny Tuesday. Jack had decided to plant a small American flag in his front yard, nothing fancy. Just a simple pole with Old Glory fluttering in the breeze to honor his fallen buddies. The scent of fresh-cut grass hung in the air, mixed with the distant hum of a lawnmower down the block. Birds chirped overhead, oblivious to the storm brewing. But Brenda, patrolling the street like a hawk with her clipboard in hand, spotted it immediately. "Flags? In the yard? That's against the aesthetic guidelines," she muttered under her breath, her heels clicking sharply on the sidewalk as she marched over. Her heart raced with that familiar rush of authority. Finally, a chance to enforce order in this chaotic world. Jack was out front, wiping sweat from his brow after digging the post hole, when Brenda's shrill voice pierced the air like a siren. "Mr. Thompson, what on earth do you think you're doing?" she demanded, her face flushing redder than a tomato in July. Jack turned slowly, his broad shoulders tensing under his faded USMC t-shirt. He sighed deeply, the kind of long, weary exhale that spoke volumes about battles fought and won. "Just putting up a flag, ma'am. It's for Memorial Day coming up. No harm in that, right?" Oh. But there was harm in Brenda's world. She thrust her clipboard forward like a shield, her manicured nails tapping impatiently. "Harm? This violates Rule 7.1, no unauthorized decorations without board approval. Do you even know what that means for property values? People like you come in here thinking you can do whatever you please because of your service. Well, let me tell you. Rules are rules." Her voice rose an octave, echoing off the houses, drawing curious glances from windows. Jack's jaw clenched, he could feel the old adrenaline stirring, the metallic taste of restraint on his tongue. Why did civilians like her always push buttons they didn't understand? "With all due respect, Brenda, I've fought for the right to fly this flag. It's not hurting anyone." The argument heated up faster than asphalt in summer. Neighbors started peeking out. Mrs. Alvarez from next door paused her gardening, gloves dangling from her hands, while young Timmy across the street froze mid-bounce on his pogo stick. Brenda's eyes narrowed, her breath coming in short, angry huffs. "Respect? You don't respect this community. You're lowering our standards." She waved her arms wildly, the clipboard nearly clipping Jack's arm. He stepped back, hands up in a placating gesture. But inside, frustration bubbled like a pot about to boil over. "Lowering standards? Lady, I've defended this country. What's your claim to fame, bossing folks around about trash cans?" That's when the twist hit like a sucker punch. Brenda, in her rage, spotted Jack's gardening shears lying on the grass nearby. He'd used them to trim the hole's edges. Without thinking, she snatched them up, gripping the handles so tight her knuckles whitened. "If you won't remove that eyesore, I'll do it myself," she shrieked, lunging forward with the sharp blades pointed like a weapon. The metallic snick of the shears opening sent a chill down Jack's spine. Time slowed as he instinctively dropped into a defensive stance. Years of training kicking in. What the hell was she doing? Neighbors gasped, audible. Sharp intakes of breath that cut through the tension like knives. Jack dodged sideways, the shears whistling past his ear with a whoosh that made his heart pound. "Whoa! Brenda! Put that down, now," he barked, his voice booming with military authority. But Brenda was beyond reason, her face twisted in a mask of entitlement. Sweat beading on her forehead despite the cool breeze. The smell of her overpowering perfume, something floral and cloying, mixed with the earthy scent of disturbed soil, turning Jack's stomach. She swung again, wildly, the blades glinting in the sunlight. "You think you're tough? I'll show you," she yelled, her voice cracking with hysteria. In that chaotic moment, a neighbor, good old Mr. Patel, who'd been watering his roses, dropped his hose and sprinted over, water spraying everywhere in a misty arc. "Stop! Someone call the cops," he shouted, his accent thick with panic. The sound of water hitting pavement added to the frenzy, a rhythmic splatter that underscored the absurdity. Jack grabbed Brenda's wrist mid-swing, twisting it just enough to disarm her without harm. The shears clattered to the ground with a clang that reverberated like a gunshot. Brenda stumbled back, gasping, her chest heaving. "How dare you touch me? I'll sue you for assault." But the police were already en route. Sirens wailed in the distance, growing louder, a Doppler effect that built the drama. As the cruisers pulled up, tires screeching on the asphalt, officers jumped out, badges flashing. "Ma'am, step back. What's going on here?" one demanded, his hand hovering near his holster. Jack stood tall, breathing steadily, while Brenda pointed accusingly. "He attacked me. Arrest him." But witnesses poured out. Mrs. Alvarez, Timmy's mom, even the mailman who'd paused his route. "No. Officer, she came at him with those shears," they chorused, voices overlapping in a cacophony of truth. The officers listened, notebooks out. As the story unfolded, Brenda's entitlement crumbled under scrutiny, her protests grew feebler, interspersed with huffs and sighs that sounded more defeated than defiant. "I was just enforcing rules. This is my neighborhood," she whined. But the cop shook his head. "Charging at someone with a weapon? That's assault." "Ma'am." Handcuffs clicked shut around her wrists, cold, unyielding metal that symbolized her fall from grace. She yelped in surprise, the sharp snap echoing her shock. Why was this happening to her? Wasn't she the victim? As they led her to the squad car, a deeper twist emerged. One officer recognized Jack from a local vets event. "Thompson? The Marine who saved those kids in that flood last year?" Jack nodded modestly. But the neighbors erupted in applause, claps and cheers that filled the air like fireworks. Brenda's face paled. She'd picked the wrong fight. Whispers spread. Turns out, Brenda had her own skeletons. Anonymous tips flooded in. She'd been skimming HOA funds for personal spa days, evidenced by leaked receipts someone had dug up. The community board, long tired of her tyranny, voted her out that very evening via emergency Zoom call. Jack watched the car drive away, the sirens fading into a distant wail. He picked up the flag, dusted it off, and planted it firmly. The breeze caught it, making it snap proudly. Neighbors gathered, offering handshakes and backslaps. "You okay, Jack?" Mrs. Alvarez asked, her voice soft with concern. He smiled faintly, the adrenaline ebbing into a tired ache. "Yeah. Just another day. But damn. That was close. In the days that followed, the neighborhood buzzed with change. Brenda faced charges, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, and the judge didn't buy her sob story. Entitlement isn't a defense, he declared, slamming the gavel with a resounding thud that sealed her fate. She got community service, probation, and a hefty fine that wiped out her secret slush fund. The irony? Part of her service was cleaning veterans' memorials, poetic justice that had everyone chuckling. Jack, meanwhile, became a local hero. The HOA reformed under new leadership, loosening those suffocating rules. People started flying flags, painting murals, breathing life into the sterile suburb. Kids played freely, laughter ringing out where silence once reigned. Jack would sit on his porch at dusk, the flag silhouetted against the sunset, sipping coffee that tasted like victory. He'd think back to that day, the rush of fear mixed with resolve. What if he hadn't dodged? But he had. And in doing so, exposed a bully's true colors. The high point came at the annual block party. Jack stood before a crowd, microphone in hand. The smell of barbecue smoke wafting through the air, ribs sizzling, corn popping on the grill. Folks, this isn't about me, he said, his voice steady but emotional. It's about standing up when someone's trying to tear you down. We all deserve respect, no matter our background. Cheers erupted. Glasses clinked. And for the first time, the neighborhood felt like a family. Brenda. She slunk away. Her house for sale sign a stark reminder of karma's bite. Last anyone heard, she was living in a condo downtown. No HOA in sight, isolated. Reflecting on her mistakes amid the city's lonely hum. Sighs of regret probably filled her nights, wondering where it all went wrong. And that's the story, friends, how one entitled jerk's rage led to her downfall. And a community found its spine. Remember, true power comes from kindness, not control. If you've ever dealt with a Karen like Brenda, drop your tales in the comments. Justice served? You bet it was. Stay strong out there.